right, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that whoever came up with the phrase, "don't judge a book by its cover," definitely did not live in the 21st century. Today, media lives and dies by its ability to hook you at the first glance. You know, they say in the music industry that the time that you have to hook someone on a song is just 7 seconds. In digital marketing, you know, one of the key metrics to the success of an ad is the amount of people who watch it for more than just 3 seconds. Even in longer form pieces like movies or TV shows, the retention point is moving closer than ever into the opening scenes, right? Think about how many times you've turned off a show because of the opening shots or the opening lines or whatever it is. We live in an age where more than ever, the book is absolutely judged by its cover. So it's our job as editors to make those first moments of our video projects winning moments, right? And so I want to take a minute to explain some of the main techniques that you can use on a regular basis to create visual hooks and even add a higher sense of production value, all within the first few moments of the cut to really hook someone into your project. The first way that you can grab your audience's attention in your edits is probably the most obvious way. You can make something happen that's really fast or shocking. It's basically the equivalent of screaming, "Hey, look over here!" And this can be pretty effective, especially, you know, sometimes in social media ads or short form commercials where you sometimes only have the length of a thumb swipe, you know, to get someone to stop. For example, this ad for my pack called CRT Textures, which my good friend Fred Pell edited. Fred understood the context of this ad playing on Instagram, a platform that is hyper still, hyper clean, hyper minimalistic. And this intro shot plays and immediately creates a visual disruption, right? It screams, "Watch me." It's quickly moving, it grabs your attention. And it's one of my top selling products actually on my store, which I attribute very largely back to the fact that this is one of the top performing ads. And it's because of those first moments of this cut that grab your attention in such a unique way on the timeline. The second way that you can, you know, create a great hook and grab your audience's attention is actually the exact opposite, where the first technique screams, "Hey, look over here." This second technique has more of a, "Psst, check it out." This approach is a lot more subtle and mysterious, you know, using silhouettes or slow movements to create a sense of intrigue. And one of the masters of this hook technique is none other than director Christopher Nolan. You can see it all throughout his films. Just think about The Dark Knight, you know, where he opens with these very sort of slow moving, you know, interesting sort of intriguing shots that grab your attention or creep up, you know, behind the main subject without revealing their face. He does the same thing in Inception and Interstellar. There's always this sort of slow sense of intrigue that's built in that first opening moment of his films. But one of the first places that Christopher Nolan used this technique was in one of his first films called Following, which was actually a super low budget film that was shot almost entirely handheld. And to make up for the raw, gritty, sort of indie feeling of the majority of the movie, the story goes that Nolan actually spent a large majority of the budget on a smooth, polished dolly shot for the opening scene to help establish a sense of high production value and create contrast with the sort of intentionality of the handheld movement. And I love this because it sort of proves yet again the importance of paying attention to an opening scene. This concept of using your opening moments to establish high production value, even though the rest of your film may be a little bit lower production value or low budget, is such an amazing concept. And if it worked for Christopher Nolan, you know it can work for us as well. The third way that you can establish a hook early on in your edit is more of an aesthetic one. And it's simple, but I believe that using strong typography early on in an edit is such an amazing way to create a great visual hook, because you can so quickly establish sort of an aesthetic and a tone and a mood just by the fonts that you choose or the colors or the sort of overall direction that you decide to create in those opening moments just using design cues. I'm a strong believer that actually even the ugliest of shots can be salvaged with great design. You know, I can even make a blurry iPhone shot, you know, feel intentional by placing a well-designed title over it and sort of using design to my advantage. And so by having, you know, a basic understanding of typography and color theory and really paying attention to design just as much as you do to, you know, the footage itself, you can really add a lot of visual intricacy in just a couple clicks to create these fascinating, you know, intros that really hook your viewer and leave them wanting more. So again, we're going to jump into all of this as we get further into the course, but I wanted to just start by really establishing this concept and helping you understand that yes, the middle of, you know, the meat of the edit is very important, but I am so focused on the beginning and the ending sometimes, because I really want people to get hooked on both ends of the project and either want to watch again or want to watch it all. And so as we get into this, just keep that in mind, how important that is. Take that, run with it in your own edits, and remember that every book, unfortunately, is judged by its cover, so pay attention to the cover. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out. Until next video, happy editing.